Well, hello, happy Thursday, and welcome to Elegant Sentiments today. I'm Sheryl Abernathy, and I'm the owner of Elegant Sentiments, and this is our weekly card share number. What number is this? This is 72. So I thank you so much for joining us today. Um, whether you're watching with me live, if you're here, thank you. And if not, and you watch the replay, thank you for that as well. So as you can see here, I've got a variety of products. I just kind of picked through my stash for today's card. I didn't have a lot of time, so I wanted something that I could put together easily. And so these are the products that I chose. I have from Pinkfresh Studio. This is the Oval Blossoms die set. It's a three-piece die set and a press plate for that coordinates with that. So that is one of the products. And I'm also using some cutting dies from Spellbinders. These are the emerald cut labels and tag cutting dies. So those are my dies. And then for my paper, I'm using a pattern heavyweight vellum from Lisa Horton Crafts. And this is a really nice set of papers. You get there's 6 patterns, and you get 4 sheets of each. And so this is the pattern that I'm using today. But these are all really nice patterns. I'll show them to you. They're good and sturdy. Sturdy vellum, pretty colors on them. Here's some that I've already used. I've used this one several times before, as well as this one. So pretty. And this is, I think, the last piece. I think I showed you that first. So those are the 6 different patterns. And let me get, so I used my pattern vellum for my color inspiration for today's project. And I coordinated 2 of the new color shift inks. I used Watermelon Spritz and Under the Sea. So these are the products that I'm using for today. Let me put these away, and then I will show you the project. Really simple. And as you can see here, I've got I die cut the largest of the emerald cut dies, and then I did the next size in to cut my vellum, and then I used the outer oval for this outer matting layer for my floral, and then I die cut the floral after I pressed it with my better press. And then this is just a sentiment that I had in my stash. This is actually a press plate from Altenew, and I just inked it up on that press plate and pressed it and die cut it. So any sentiment you have would work for this card. And then you see there's a little bit of shimmer around the floral, and that is actually some a glitter brush from scrapbook.com. So that's our project, and we will go ahead and get started. I did do some pre-work already. So the first thing that we'll have to do is our better press. So I'm going to get my better, I can say that word, bring my better press plates in and get my machine here, or my actual plate. I got this, I don't think that Pinkfresh Studio sells this, but I got it from attending one of their classes. A lot of times they have 4 or 5 classes throughout the year, and a lot of time they will have they'll have product in their classes that they don't put on their line. So I was really happy to be able to get this plate because it's cute. It's a cute little one. And so I'm just going to take my Lisa Horton ink. I've got my plate down, my Better Press plate down on my platen here. And then I'm just going to ink it up with my Lisa Horton ink. And it's wiggling around as I ink it up, but that's okay. And I like a lot of inks will ink well with the Better Press, and typically if it's not a soft foam pad, you can use it with Better Press. So almost all of Lisa's inks can be used with the Better Press, which is really nice. And the inks from Pinkfresh Studio as well. So I've got that inked up, and I'm going to put my piece of cardstock down onto my plate and tape it down so that it doesn't move around. And then put that in, and I'm just going to run this through my embossing. Actually, let me just bring my embossing in, and you can see I'm just going to run it through my embossing machine here. Get that out of the way. And there we have our beautifully embossed image. So pretty. And I didn't straighten up the image on the paper, but it doesn't matter because we're going to die cut that anyway. So I'll take this off. Move this out of the way. And then I'll get my die, and we can die cut that. So I just need this smaller of the two ovals, the one that's not scalloped, to cut this out. And if you wanted, like if you didn't want to do what I did, you could absolutely use that scallop die and die cut it that way. But for the design that I've used, I just want to die cut this oval out. Get some tape here. And I didn't point out, but when you do the Better Press, if for some reason you don't get ink coverage the way that you want, it's very easy to just run it back through. Don't move anything, and that everything will stay in place, and you can run it back through a second time. It's almost like using a stamp positioner. Everything will stay in place until you move it. So I'm die cutting this now, my little oval. Okay, and there we have that. Get this out of my way here. Uh-oh. And then I want to stick this back in the package so I don't lose it, because I'm really good at losing dies. Okay, so we'll put that away, get rid of this. And then the next thing I want to do, I've done some pre-work already. And what I did was, this is a bigger card than I normally make. This is actually a 5x7 card base that I made out of 12x12 cardstock. I just cut it at 7, then flipped it and cut it at 10 and scored it at 5. So that's how I made my card base. And then I did use the larger scallop to cut out the white. And I'm going to go ahead and use my glitter brush. This is clear shimmer from scrapbook.com. It's just like it works like Wink of Stella, and You push it to get some ink flowing. Mine is still pretty wet, so I don't want it too wet because it'll buckle your paper, because this can get really wet if you overdo it. But I'm getting a nice little shimmer of clear shimmer on there. I'm just pushing it again to get more into the, there we go. And then just brushing it. I just want to come in just a little bit into the card, this little scallop, so that the edges that peek out behind my Better Press Floral will, I missed a spot there. Let me go back around just to make sure I got all these edges. I think I did pretty good. Okay, so we'll let that dry while we finish up the other part. So move this out the way. So that's what I did with the watermelon spritz. I used that for this and for my sentiment. And then I'm going to take this largest emerald cut die that I had, and I've got my ink brush with the Under the Sea color shift ink, and instead of inking it up, I'm just going to use the ink that's still on the brush. So I should have enough to do this, because it doesn't take much. I just want a nice light coating of that color on this panel. And I'm leaving the center so it's not too blue. It's just like a nice pale blue that's in that vellum. I thought that worked out really well. Okay, so that is all I need to do with that, so we can start the assembly. So I'll get this stuff out of my way. And the first thing I want to do is go ahead and add my floral to my oval. Well, get my ink flowing here. And try this again. It should work just fine. There we go. And just put that down onto my card, my scalloped oval. That's part of the oval blooms set. And then the next thing I want to do is add some ribbon just to, well, it's actually, this is diamond metallic thread. This is, light silver is the color of this. So I always have, just in case you didn't know, I try to put the products that I use in the product description. So if you're ever looking for them afterwards, they're there. And I also sometimes will include product links if there are things that you can get on the open market. I'll put those there. But obviously for this one, this oval blooms won't be part of. And then for this, I just really wanted to, and I got my tape on the wrong side of my oval here. and it's come undone. So I got to wrap it around again, and we'll try it all over. But I just wanted like just a little squiggly going across the bottom. Doesn't have to be, I may as well just do it this way because it is not cooperating doing it the way that I typically would do it. But just wrapping that back and forth across the bottom of that oval just to give a little, not a, I didn't want a whole lot there, but just something for a little extra detail on the card because it's a little, it just needed, I just felt it needed a little something extra. And I got a loop, but I'm looping the wrong way here. I want you looping down here. Okay, let's try this differently. Let's see if I can loop it around my fingers and then get it. It was much easier when I did it the first time. This time, not so much. Of course, because people are watching what I'm doing. And once I get that down there, then I can wiggle it around and get it where I want it. So that's what I did, do that part. It took me a little bit to just kind of get it looped the way I wanted it because I wanted multiple loops and I didn't want it to look too I wanted it to just look kind of organic, not that it was just set, so there we go. That's good enough. I think that'll do. I could have used a little bit more perhaps, but that's fine. And then I'll snip off this little piece here. Okay. And then that's all we need to do for that. And then I mounted this to the vellum with some foam tape or foam sheet. I die cut the foam sheet of the smaller oval, and I'll just add that to the back of this one. And then this is what I'll use to add to the front of my card. I really want that to go this way. I guess that's fine. So before I put this on, I'm going to go ahead and adhere my die cut emeralds to my to each other and then to the card base. And with the vellum, you just want to make sure you're only putting your tape in the center where it'll be hidden by the oval when you add it. So, but this, like I said, this is a really nice heavy vellum. So it die cuts, you can emboss it well. And then with this, I want to move it up a little bit because I want to leave space for my sentiment at the bottom. So I'll go ahead and add that to my card front. Put the cap back on this glue. It is so persnickety. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and add some glue, and I'm going on the inside of the stitched lines that are in this this die, because I don't want, and just as I said that I go right over the lines, I don't want the lines showing through, the glue showing through those lines. So I'm just trying to make sure I don't do that. Okay, and then we'll just put this onto the card front. Try to get it straight. Okay, and then I can add my Floral. Just add that right in the center. Press that down. And then the last thing that we have to do is add our sentiment to the front, and we'll be able to call this one done. It's super easy. And I'll show you, I said I was going to start showing some of the stuff that I do throughout the week at the end of my lives, in case you haven't had a chance to check out my blog. Now this week I didn't blog. I made a card for my blog. I just didn't blog it. I'll maybe do that over the weekend. And so there you have it. That's our project for today. And let me see. Let me find some of the stuff that I did this week. I did a live for Lisa Horton, and I'll show you that one. That was a fun little one. It wasn't a fun fold, but it was a nice, I don't even know what you call it. It's a flip fold maybe. I had, it's this one. This uses one of her new composition dies. But then when it opens, it has a little hinge there. And that was one of I did two, obviously my sample I did as a get well wishes, but it's the same thing. And then here's another card that I used with those same products, but I just used Vellum. And then I did the quilted background. So that is one of the cards. One of the cards, I showed that one in my video that I did for Lisa. And then this is the card that I did for the blog, but I didn't blog it yet. But this one will be up on my blog this weekend. Ordinarily it would have been done Wednesday, but I didn't do it last night. But I did make it. So that is the card. So those are the projects that I worked on this week. I hope that you have some time to craft a little kindness in your week this weekend, or if you've already got it done, keep going. But thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I'll be back again next Thursday live, and I will try to blog on Wednesday, but at least one day next week I will blog. And I thank you so much for your time. If you like my video, please give me a thumbs up and share it so that people will know that I'm out here. So thank you and have a fantastic week. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.